Businesses too are fed up with China. I'm talking about companies like Foxconn. They're punishing the dragon, and before I tell you how, I want you to look at some pictures. That video was from November last year. It was shot at a Foxconn factory in Zhengzhou. Foxconn is a Taiwanese company. It is the biggest contractor of Apple. It makes Apple products. What you see is the largest iPhone factory in the world. Massive protests had broken out there. The reason? A Wuhan virus outbreak. The entire factory was locked down, and with it, the workers, they were also not being paid their wages on time. It led to violent protests. The workers began to flee. Ultimately, Foxconn had to apologize. It couldn't take the pain of operating in China anymore, so it's moving out. Foxconn has secured a new factory site in Vietnam. It has signed a lease agreement. The iPhone maker is renting a plot of 111 acres. The lease will run through 2057. Last year, it signed an agreement, this for a new factory in Bagyang. The deal was worth $300 million. Foxconn already has a facility there. It makes products like iPads and AirPods. But the company wants to build a new factory now. In December, it also decided to relocate some of the MacBook production to Vietnam. Reports say the move is being executed quietly, and Vietnam is becoming the new hub for Foxconn. They're also expanding in India. In December, Foxconn announced fresh investment. $500 million will flow into Foxconn's Indian subsidiary. More workers will be hired. They plan to quadruple their workforce in India. They're already shipping products from India. Again, why is Foxconn doing all of this? To save its business. China's erratic policies are hurting operations. Foxconn's biggest client is Apple. This month, Apple CEO Tim Cook spoke to investors. He referred to the turmoil in Zhengzhou. Cook said the protest impacted production. I have a copy of that statement with me. This is what he said. COVID-19 challenges significantly impacted the supply of iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max and lasted through most of December. It's a telling comment on China. China was the factory of the world. It is fast losing that tag. Like Foxconn, several companies are moving out. Companies like Nike, Adidas, and Samsung. They've moved their production lines. In January, Canon decided to shut down a factory. Canon is a camera maker. It will close a part of its facility in Zhuhai. Then we have laptop maker Dell. They'll stop using chips made in China. They're also expected to move half of their production out of China. Reports say Sony has moved 90% of its camera production. From China, they've shifted to Thailand. India is also in the mix. New Delhi has rolled out incentives, especially for mobile phone manufacturing. We've already told you about Foxconn. South Korean giant Samsung is also on the list. India now accounts for 20% of its manufacturing. But there's a long way to go. China produces 70% of the world's smartphones. India's share is just 16% at the moment. There is a lot of room to grow. The semiconductor space is also heating up. Companies like Vedanta, Taiwan's TSMC, and the Tata Group want to set up factories to make chips in India. Consumer tech is an attractive space, but India needs to look beyond. What about other forms of manufacturing like consumer goods? Manufacturing makes up only 14% of India's GDP. It is the right sector to bet on for growth. China's lapses have opened up opportunities. Now it's time for India to make the most of them.